Let's, your wonderful audience, let's meet our panel. First, she is one of the stars of the hit series ER, Julianna Margulies. Hello, Kitten. Thank you very much for coming by.
Pleasure.
He is a regular on The Tonight Show and plays to sold-out clubs and colleges across the country. Catch him at the Wiltern Theater in L.A. May 20th. Mr. Carrot Top. Hello, young man. Thanks for coming on. Huh? He co-starred with Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, and his latest 9 months will be soon released. You all know this man, Mr. Tom Arnold.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Polly.
How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you. Long time.
I know. You're doing good, though. You're doing well.
An Emmy Award-winning journalist, the author of 7 books, including his latest, Perspectives, and the co-host, of course, of 2020, Hugh Downs. Right over here. Thank you, Hugh. Okay. Thank you. I'm so glad you all made it. You too.
Look and see whose agent's on the phone right now. How did this happen?
And he did that without a prop. That's the unbelievable thing.
Okay.
You're going to shout at me, but
Let me ask you this question. Yesterday they arrested this guy, Nichols. Do you know the Nichols brothers, the vaudeville team who were involved in the Oklahoma bombing? You remember the Nichols brothers? Yeah. Okay, this guy, I remember when this happened, he said that he doesn't pay taxes. He didn't get a driver's license because he thinks that people who follow the regular rules of society, he calls them sheeple. Yeah, he's very clever. And he also his kids do not go to school. He took them out of school. My point is, kids are sheeple too. And do you have the right, if you are a nut, to take your kid out of school? And it's not just right-wing nuts. Hippies have done the same thing. They take their kids out of school. I mean, is that fair to the kid? There are Klan kids who don't go to school. You're a sheeple person.
Yeah, I am. I think first of all, I don't think that I don't know if he's qualified to teach his children. I don't know what his resume is like. I assume he didn't go to college. I have a big suspicion he didn't to learn a teaching degree. But you know what? The whole point is that if people if they don't believe in the school system, if they don't believe in the public school system, maybe they should get more involved themselves in the system we have. I mean, there's a man that knows a little bit about chemistry, perhaps. I mean,
I know, but the issue is, I mean, parents always say they have the right to do what they want with their kids.
No, that's not true.
You don't think that's true?
Absolutely not.
So you think nobody should be able to take kids out of school?
Well, I think, first of all, that we all owe kids, everybody's kids, we all should look after them. People can't abuse their kids, and I think that that's a form of abuse.
You do?
Teaching kids to hate and that's
so you should force kids to go to school.
Yes.
Parent, school.
If two parents are teachers and they want it and they're qualified and they know what they're doing, I think that's a different case. But if it's just to rebel against society and so forth, I think it's ridiculous.
You think that society over parents?
Well, actually, in a democracy, and we still have that here, however eroded the fringes may be, there's an agreed-upon set of rules that the community obeys. And these people who think that they're out to save society from the hated government forget that we are the government, And what do? How do they set about to save us all from the government? They bomb daycare centers. They bomb the people's children. I mean, this doesn't make sense. It's really literally insane.
Right. He also, will not pay taxes and get a driver's license while he drives on a road that the government built. Right. If you don't want to do that, drive through the cornfield.
It's also, I mean, obviously he's socially retarded, and what happens when you homeschool children is that they become socially retarded. They don't know how to interact with society.
Well, I was taught at home, so right there tells you what the problem is.
Yeah.
But there is another side to it also, and the other side to it is that some public schools are threatening the lives of children. Kids are coming in with guns. They're not learning in school. They're learning how to defend themselves. Now, if I was living in a community where that was the public school system, where my kids, had to get searched in order to get in the building, It might be a different situation.
But you
I
think
may
this
think,
Nichols
well,
guy would like that. I mean, they got guns and they're, you know, it's a hip happening place.
Right,
now.
he spanked his kids for not playing with guns.
Yeah,
Okay, we have to take a break. We'll be back.
If you'd like to be a member of our studio audience, call 212-512-8959.
Okay, we're back. I think this is a perfect time to ask this question. You all know what Tourette syndrome is, right? Yeah. Tom, you've made a you've made a study of all sorts of weird stuff like that.
But then I got a divorce, so I don't have to study it as much, you know.
Yeah. I think she got the divorce.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I seem to remember you trying to hang on. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill.
Anyway, you're a big movie star right now.
Yeah,
You don't need me or her. Yeah. Anyway. We identified something we called political Tourette syndrome because it seems like every other week somebody in the public eye, a politician, somebody who knows that the whole world is watching, says something remarkably stupid. Al D'Amato a couple of weeks ago did an impression talking in a Japanese accent. And he's not the only, I mean, a Dick Armey called Barney Frank Barney Fag.
He didn't call him that. He was just talking about him, and he made a slip of the tongue. And that's different. You know what? That is different than Al D'Amato trying to be Howard Stern and do an impression of him.
You think that's a slip of the tongue? This guy's mother said, she's 75, she said, in 75 years, nobody's ever mispronounced my name, Frank, to fag.
Well, with a name like Dick, I mean, you know, he's got a lot of room to talk about. Sorry. How are you?
it was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, but his mother is not a homosexual, I'm guessing, too.
That's why I picked this seat. Yeah, go ahead.
Freudian slips are possible. And the two psychiatrists were talking one time. One of them said, did you ever make a Freudian slip? And one of them said, yeah. He said, as a matter of fact, night before last I made one. He said, my mother-in-law was having dinner with us, and I had my mouth open to say, would you please pass the salt? And what I said was, you've ruined my life, you bitch.
All right. Hugh Downs will be at Fudd Trucklers with Carrot Top in Cleveland through the 21st. Please tip your waitresses generously. But what do you ascribe that to? You follow it all the time. Why do these people who are in the public eye and know better suddenly say Hymietown or something incredibly
How about
stupid?
Jesse Jackson when he said that President Reagan should bring bodyguards with him when he came to that town?
Jesse Helms.
Jesse Helms.
Right.
Jesse Jackson, Jesse Helms is a Jesse somewhere in this country. That's why I sat next to Mr. Downs.
I think part of it is better coverage. You know, in olden days, people would say something, a newspaper reporter would print it, and he'd say, I was misquoted. Well, now, if you say it, you say it. And people are kind of in this frenzy to express themselves in this era of competition. They blurt things, forgetting for the moment that they're on many, many media, you know, and they get caught.
And you call that better coverage than I mean,
let's say more coverage.
Yeah, more coverage.
And sometimes they blame it, you know, if there's no more last resort, they say drunk. Bob Packwood was like, you know, I groped women, but, you know, I was drunk at the time, and somehow that's better.
You understand that, Bill.
That's your excuse.
What is... I'm not an AA like some people on the panel.
I know.
What do you mean?
Hey. Some of us get it, and some of us are still out there, buddy.
Really, you've never had one slip since you quit drinking?
I mean, it took me a long time to quit, you know, but in 5.5 years I've been good.
Let me... Do you think, let me ask this, do you think when you're drunk, people say they blame it on the liquor, do you think you're more truthful when you're drunk or that's just, they'll say, that's just the liquor talking. Does the liquor talk truthfully or less so?
It depends on, you know, if you've had a couple drinks, sometimes it'll loosen you up a little bit, but if you're completely out of your mind, you go into the deepest, darkest part of your, you know, subconscious,
but
and
I'm
it's
asking,
not.
is that where the truth is?
Well, then we would all be hated by everybody, because deep inside of ourselves we judge
Leave
everybody.
yourself out of it. Just talk about.
I'd say, you know.
But I think I don't drink, and I just went to my rap party, and it was a really interesting experience to be the only person there sober. And I don't drink not because I had a problem with it, just because I think I bartended too long. Yeah. But it was really interesting to see how everyone would come up to me. But normally I would never say this. I just had something to drink, and I just want to tell you. And so all that, it just loosens you up.
That's a great George Clooney impression. I'll tell you.
All right, I have to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Got a problem with any of this? Well, write to us at 514 West 57th Street, New York, New York, 10019, or via email at p.i.@prodigy.com.
Okay, we were talking about getting drunk, and we are. And during the break, we got loaded. No, it's always been my contention that to be drunk all the time is a terrible thing. But I also think to be sober all the time is equally unnatural. I think.
Well, it might be unnatural for you, but for a guy like me that is an alcoholic through and through, I have to be, because otherwise it would be the other side. I would be drunk all the time. Now, a guy like you who knows moderation and gets a drunk driving every 5 or 10 years, you know, then that's okay.
You know that's a sore point with me.
I am so sorry.
Right. Okay. Well, then you drive me next time.
I will drive you.
But why are you getting drunk? Why is getting drunk now and then a natural thing?
Well, why did God put on the earth so many things to get us into a different reality? Why did he put funny mushrooms, marijuana, peyote? Are you saying that God made a mistake?
Well, hey, God, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you don't have to eat on this earth. I don't think you'd like to eat doesn't mean you're supposed to eat it because God made it, you know.
God also made animals.
I don't know if you know this, Tom, but you don't usually eat pot.
Well, actually, no, that's not true.
Actually, that's not true. In Alabama, people actually dip with, they don't chew it, they just chew marijuana.
So you're saying God wanted people to smoke? That was his top priority. I hope they smoke and keep smoking.
Why would he have made so many different kinds of mushrooms and then one kind that makes you laugh for 8 hours in a row? Mr. Hugh Downs.
Well, I'll tell you.
He's packing right here.
Yeah. And speaking of Downs,
if people need to change their mood, I think it has to do with levels of maturity. A fully mature person doesn't have that need. I flew with
you never have a drink when you get home from work?
Oh, no, I do. I'm not a fully mature person.
Well, I mean, you look fantastic, but what year is this going to happen? I mean, if it hasn't happened by now.
No, some people get old without maturing. Like a piece of fruit can go from green to rotten without ripening. And a lot of people have the misfortune to get old without maturing. But when I'm a mature person who becomes responsible for his own actions and is at peace with himself, doesn't really require a mood-altering drug, you know. And he would feel worse with any alcohol.
And I'm not saying, I don't have anything against alcohol. The only thing I have against drugs is that they're illegal. I don't care what. People could drink. Right, but people could drink.
Not all drugs, Tom, are
but
illegal.
Marijuana, and you puff some reefer every now and then, I happen to know. I've been over to your house.
I puffed it right in your face.
I know, exactly.
And the face of the woman who hates you.
But it's okay if you do that. For me, it's okay if you have some drink. It's totally okay. It's just me that's the problem. I can't do it.
Right.
You guys can.
But you are not normal. You are not, like you say.
You're right, I'm not.
No, and that's okay. I'm not putting you down for that.
I'm not normal. I know. I wish I was.
But if you were, you probably would not be the enormous talent that you are.
Well,
No, I mean that. I mean, it's creativity
be.
is involved with that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
but
it's not that all drugs are illegal. The government just has a list of drugs that are illegal. But Prozac.
Are you in a militia or something, buddy?
Are you telling me that? I mean, Prozac is made in a lab. I don't know where that's coming from. At least I know where mushrooms are coming from.
Yeah.
They're coming from the earth. I don't know who.
They're coming from dung, cow dung that they grow out of.
Cow dung, exactly. What could be more natural than cow dung?
So does wheat.
You think
Just
cow...
fire some up then, Bill.
So does wheat.
Well,
but you know what?
again, Tom, you don't fire up mushrooms. That's your problem. You don't know how to get the drugs into your body. If you could do that, you'd be fine. All right, we have to take a break. We'll be back. Okay, we just have a little bit of time. You mentioned about fruit going from ripe to horrible. I wanted to ask this question because we have Carrot Top here, and Tom would be very good on this, is that in movies, they're always showing people at the height of passion, and they somehow involve food in their sexual activities. Can we have by acclamation, this is stupid,
It's
in
bad.
real life, when you actually bring food into sex, it's not good.
No, it's bad. I agree.
It's
No,
just a
I
big...
disagree.
Oh, yes, well, go ahead.
I've got something, I think it's a pear right here, actually, stuck in my... There's your prop right there for
There
it,
you
Tom.
go.
No, I don't know. I think it's kind of exciting to bring food into...
In movies, it happens all the time.
They have it in their
always...
mouth, and then they're kissing, and
They stick stuff,
Oh,
and
my
it's
God.
you're just a big gooey mess, aren't you? What do you think?
I think it depends on what kind of food it is, you know?
Yeah?
Well, what kind of food would be acceptable during sex?
Well, I mean, you know, cucumbers.
Okay, all right. I thought we were assuming it was two people having sex. I see I was way off base there. Well,
That hasn't come up in ER yet where they've had to remove one of those from somebody.
Yeah.
Figure out what happened.
well, on that classy note, I have to say thank you to my guest, Julianna Margulies, Tom Arnold, Hugh Downs, Carrot Top. See you tomorrow, our special Mother's Day show.